Guys, I just got back. Had an eventful day. I'm gonna start blogging on this thing. This is my first vlog. I've had a very emotional, powerful day today. Kept my calm, kept my cool. Went to the Superior Court today to file a response, even though it might be 10 years later. There is no time limit on responding to fraud or responding to a void judgment. The ladies there, the clerks, had no idea what I was filing. They didn't want to file it because, I had child support agency in there as the petitioner. I was the respondent, and they said that they can't file it for me. They can't stamp or file it. So once I heard that, I started filling out. I got the names. I got the name of the main clerk. Got her name. I don't want to say her name now, but added it to my color of law document, and I served her with it. Her name was in there. I wrote down what she was saying and that she couldn't file it because it was a conflict of interest, that the child support is part of their court system. They're not allowed to file against their own self and this and that. But when child support put together false orders and BS orders that they sent me to intimidate me to show up to court, that's the same court that they filed it in to get me into court, and where they did their void proof of service and there's complaint and the summons and lack of proof of injury. They don't have any of that. They just told me that I had to show up to court or face prison time or lose my license. So it's been a stressful but liberating time. I've been going hard with research, with how I wanted to attack this, and it's been a lot of research, a lot of legalese. We are allowed to, as citizens, as of the United States, we are allowed to, you know, file motions, file demands, and not be criticized for it and not be looked at as a domestic terrorist that you are trying to go for your rights or whatever. That's not true. So it is our right, constitutional right, to file for anything that we may have an issue with, may have a problem with, especially with things that have lack of evidence and they're trying to enforce things on you that shouldn't be enforced. That's not, constitutional. So it's been a lot of research. It's been a lot of back and forth with trying to figure out which angle would be best to get my case dismissed. I went to the court today. They didn't want to submit my paperwork, saying that they're not allowed to, that they can't file against themselves, when that's not true either. I mean, child support might be involved with the court. I mean, not might be. I mean, they are. I mean, they're getting kickbacks, but child support still is their own separate entity. It's their own separate business. They have an EIN number, Duns and Bradstreet number. They are a corporation that uses the court to enforce their orders and their money judgments and all that stuff, which is all BS. And they're definitely taking advantage of people's lack of education, lack of research, because the family court is the only court that is allowed to basically hinder and hurt people off of just presumption. Basically, it's a court that runs mainly off of presumption. Compared to other courts, they don't do that. You would have to have evidence to prove someone's guilt, but in that type of court, you're guilty before you even walk in there, and you have to go in there with the paperwork to even prove your innocence, which is backwards. It shouldn't be like that, but a lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that when I first got into this. It's a wicked process to be paying for, paying child support where, it doesn't It's not in the best interest of the child. Every dollar that I spent on child support, 66 cents goes to child support services. Only 34 cents goes to the actual to the other party, to the mother of my child. So it's not in the best interest. It's a racket. Once you get once you get empowered with knowledge and research, you get more confident with it, and you speak up for yourself, because this is a major issue nationwide, major issue, and it's depressing. It's hard. It's a lot of dark days. It's just a lot of I can't even explain it, man. A lot of sleepless nights. A lot of wondering and curiosity, and wondering how your child's doing, because I'm also being blocked of access too for no reason. That's another thing. I hired a lawyer with money that I barely even had, and she was very cool in the beginning. Before I even sent the money for the retainer, she was very responsive, very, she was cool in the beginning, and I thought she would have my best interests. You know what I mean? She gave me hope. She gave me like this weird false hope that I thought everything was gonna be good, but all she really did was make it worse. And then I found out that the lawyer's first priority is to uphold the court first. Their first priority is to uphold the court, not their client. A lot of people don't know that when they're going to the court. What lawyers do, what family court lawyers do, family court lawyers, the worst ones. There's no reason for them at all. They will never submit this type of documentation, this type of paperwork, because the type of paperwork that I'm bringing, because it's against their basically their oath that they take to the family court. All these judges and lawyers, even the lawyers that are on opposite sides of each other, they hang out together, local bars. But when they're in their Zoom meeting or in their in-person hearings, they act like that they're going against each other. There's a little bit of like a show there, a little bit of like an acting thing going on, and in the back and behind the scenes thing, they're really working together as a unit to keep your case going, keep it flowing, keep it going. That's their ultimate goal, is just to keep it going. The last thing that my lawyer said to me, my previous lawyer, before I cut her, before I let her go, she wanted me to pay $5,000 a month. I was ordered to pay $5,000 a month for a therapy session, just to see my child. To pay for a therapy session per month, that there was no end in sight. There was no timetable or anything. It could have went on for years. And I'm paying $5,000 a month, and I didn't have it at the time. I'm trying to work, trying to pay bills, and keep a roof over my head. And my lawyer said, well, borrow it from somebody. I'm supposed to borrow $5,000 every month until this fake therapist tells me I could go back to court and ask for their permission to be with my child. Listen, my child is, I know it sounds weird, but I have a right to my property. I have a right to my child. Right now she's being, her access is being blocked from me, and they live in the same town as me. They live in the same area as me. Every time I bump into them, they're my daughter's mother is trying to, call the police and on me, and saying that I'm doing this, doing that, when I'm just naturally bumping into her around the town. It's crazy. It's crazy how wicked some people could freaking be. But they know in the back of their mind that the law is in their favor, child support is in their favor, just to throw, mostly men, over 80% of men get into their, child support program, where they're making millions and billions of dollars on a national level. It's a wicked system, and it's It's freaking crazy, man. It's a lot of work. I know my work isn't over yet, but today was a good step with what I have going on, and I don't know. I feel good getting my thoughts out, and this is like my first video ever where I'm talking and whatever. I mean, I feel kind of happy today. First time I felt happy in I don't know how long, man. It's crazy like this where I feel like I got some headway. I don't know. It's weird. Last time I felt happy like this was probably when I had my lawyer, and I thought she had me with that false hope where I was going to be able to see my kid, soon. But all she did was wound up getting me wrapped up into a reunification therapist that there's only 3 of in the state of New Jersey, and they charge out the what just to get seen and be seen. And they want to retain her too, and they want their money up front, and there's no timetable when their services are over. They could go on for the way she was talking, she couldn't tell me, but the way she was talking, it could have went on for a couple of years. Easy, at $5,000 a month a pop. It's crazy. I don't have that kind of money. Like, it's insane what this stuff, I don't know, what, mostly men and some women are going through. It's crazy. It's not right. It's not just. I mean, when we had the C-19 era in 2020, when everything got stopped and got what's the word I'm looking for? Redone in a way, like people going to work, people going into work, people working remote. A lot of things changed post C-19, where people wanted to be more remote, and it changed the way corporate buildings operate too. Like, I mean, not that many people have to go into work for real. A lot of people opted to work from home or work from wherever they want to work at. I think post C-19, this is one thing that really needs to be looked at, and it needs to be abolished. It needs to be, the Department of Justice needs to really step in and really make this right. They're causing a lot of heartache, and they're causing a lot of murders. A lot of good men don't have hope, and they wake up with no hope. And I feel what they're saying. I feel what they feel, and I don't blame them. When the kid's taken from you, and you have to pay this and that on a weekly basis as a reminder that you don't see your kid. It's just crazy. Like, you get reminded every day, especially when you go and pay and this and that. It's like it's messed up. The whole system is messed up, and we're losing a lot of good guys because they feel hopeless, they feel helpless. So I don't know, it's depressing. I'll just end it there, man. Thank you.